Hello everyone, we're back again with another video, and today, by popular demand, we're back on the catch Carp Coarse. Now, recently I've been making more Gems of War content. I was waiting to see how the fishing video would go down. I didn't expect it to do too well, to be honest with you, and it's actually probably my most popular video. In fact, it's the video that the people I speak to who've watched my videos most mentioned, so I'm really happy to be back on it. It's one of my favourite games, and hopefully we can catch a boss fish in this series at some point. Now, I do have a small confession. If I go over to the boss fish and then I go to the lake, and you'll see here that we have indeed caught one of the boss fish for the Jerzerio Bestioo lake. Now, how this happened is a bit of a funny story. I decided one day that I wanted to play the game just for a few minutes. I was going to go out, and I had maybe 10 minutes before I had to get ready. I thought, why not? I know what I'll do. I'll go on the Jerzerio Bestioo lake and I will use boilies and I'll target the carp, because as you know, in this series we're not targeting the carp, we're targeting the coarse fish. So I picked a swim which was in nice open water, and I put boilies on. I put the biggest hooks I could find on, and I cast out, and do you believe it, blow me over, the first fish I caught within a couple of minutes was this bream. Now this thing is an absolute beast. It says Bartos bream, a slab-sided, deep-bodied fish capable of eating from morning until night, and then night until the morning. Bartos is just a fishy, mobile recycling plant who never stops looking for food. A shoal dweller, you will have to put an awful lot of bait in to keep Bartos and his compatriots in one place for long enough to catch him. Otherwise, he'll just wander off elsewhere in search of more grub. Once hooked, he'll probably give up quickly, just so you'll return him safely back to start eating again. Now, I have managed to save the recording of me catching the fish. What I'll do is I will edit the video. I'll take the sound out, because it definitely isn't ASMR, and I'll do a commentary over the top. I won't do it just yet, but we're not going to count this one as a boss fish on our journey. Again, today we're going to be going after the boss fish, the coarse boss fish. Now, I would particularly like to target the barbel today, but I do also have an eye on the tench, so let's read this one. Thomas, tench. Big tench are a prize to treasure, and Thomas is certainly up there as one of the biggest. A glistening green Goliath, Thomas bears a conspicuous red eye, tiny olive scales, and a huge paddle tail, all dripping in protective slime, which makes him a slippery customer indeed. Once known as the doctor fish by those who mistakenly believed in the medicinal and apparent healing properties of tench slime, if you catch Thomas, you'll definitely be feeling better in the morning. So that doesn't really give us any hints on how to catch him. I wonder if any of the barbed ones will give us a hint. So what I'm seeing is there's only one barbel. That surprises me. That's surprised to see if it gives us a hint. Francisek, a golden scaled submarine. Francisek will always be found on the lake bed, using his sensitive barbulars to detect morsels of food amongst the stones and mud in the darkest areas of the lake. Rarely near the bank, you'll have to employ a heavy lead and a mighty cast to get near him with small baits on a small hook. A lover of natural offerings, small boilies, a tiny cube of meat, or a kernel of golden corn, you may have to experiment to find the right combination. Okay, so it sounds like he is in open water, indicated by the rarely near the bank, and by you'll have to employ a heavy lead. I am imagining that means we have to cast a long way, so, and also in the darkest areas of the lake. So let's see if we can maybe spot out what we're going to need to do there, and we need to use small baits. So let's get going. Let's go to the lake. We'll go for sunrise. Now I'm just looking, and I don't know if this has got anything to do with it, but on the map that we're looking at right now, there is lighter areas and there is darker areas. So clearly I think we're going to have to target one of the darker areas. I think the best thing to do might be to use one of these platforms on the very bottom. There's 4 platforms just in front of a small cabin. I think the best thing to do is to use one of those, and what we'll try to do is we'll try to hit the open water with small baits. We'll see if we can find the deepest parts, and we'll see how we get on from there. So let's get into this. Of course, it's a dovetail game, so they're advertising another game. So I think we'll head to there. We'll pick up maybe maybe this next one. Oh, it's not going to let me through there. That's frustrating. We'll set up here. This seems to be lots of open water in front of us. Claim the peg. Let's take a look at our rods. I think we're going to need a lot longer rods so we can cast further. We'll go with we don't want a float rod. Let's go with these Bait Shack Pro 12-foot rods, and I'm going to leave the reels on for now. We're going to go with the 20-pound, and we're going to change up. I'm going to make an assumption that we're going to be on silt. If that's wrong, then we'll change it. We're going to go with a medium hook. And we want small baits. Now it did mention meat, so maybe we'll put meat on this first one. can find some. It also mentioned small boilies, but I'm a little worried if we use small boilies that we're just going to get hounded by carp, so let's go with that. I'm going to keep this silt the same, but we're going to use some corn on this one. Single corn, and we're going to change this back to silt. We're going to go with a maggot on this one. We're going to go with red maggot. You can never really go wrong with red maggot. Yeah, let's see how that goes. First one. See this, I'm going to head out this way. We see these, there's a tree right on the edge here. We're going to use that as our marker. I'm going to try again because it doesn't matter if we get it wrong. Wow, okay, so 47 feet deep. That sounds just about perfect to me. We'll let that settle. Oh, I guess we're not going to let that settle. Now, these fights are going to be quite a bit longer than the last episode because we've got an awful lot of line to reel in. I'm hoping we don't connect into too many carp because that is very definitely going to cause us some problems because we don't have the line to deal with the huge carp that will be at the depths in open water. So while we play this one in, I hope that everyone's having a cozy day. For me, it's 20 to 9 on a Thursday afternoon or evening. I just got done watching Dr. Sleep with my girlfriend. It was a lot of fun. I love that movie. I hope that everybody else is having a relaxing day, a relaxing evening. I hope that if you're not, if you're struggling, if you're having some rough times, that this video can help you a little bit. Now, what are we going to see here? It looked for a second like an eel. It is an eel. Look at this, there we go. It's quite a light coloured eel. I didn't mean to skip that, but that's fine. It's fine. We don't mind mistakes on this channel. Again, we're going to line our rod up with the tree on the edge. We're going to try to hit anywhere between 95 and 100%. So I think we're just going to run into pure silt. So we need to change this boy into a silt rig, like that. Pick it up. The next one will head slightly further over. 98% again. You love to see it. We've got quite a nice view this time. We can see a little bit more than we could when we were over there. And finally we'll get our red maggot out. Now I'm going to send this one over to these rocks on the right hand side, just to spread our bait out a little bit. Okay, so it's not quite as deep there. So I am not expecting us to catch quite as many fish as we did last time. I think that in the shallower water, when you're fishing for coarse fish, it's easier to get bigger weights quickly. By bigger weights I mean the amount of fish that you can catch. But in the deeper water you can come across the real beasts, the catfish, the carp, and the section that we read about the barbel definitely suggested that he would be prowling the deeper water. So we're going to go looking. This episode we'll give it a good try in the open water, and if we don't manage anything from that, we will switch it up. Next episode we'll oh, there we go, number 2's gone. Hook slipping, there we go. Takes a little while because the rods are so far away, your line builds up more slack, and so it takes a while for you to actually feel the fish through the rod, which means the hook can slip, which means we have to be on the ball as soon as we hook into the fish, otherwise we could lose it straight away. So what I was saying beforehand, if the open water tactic doesn't work, if we're not hooking enough fish, or if we don't come across the barbel that we're looking for, we will again look for something to fish against, whether we find a weed bed, or we fish off one of the islands, or we find something natural like some lilies or something. We'll see. I think our best tactic is to keep switching things up. This could well be another eel. It feels like it's shaking its head a lot, and that is a good indicator. If you look on the side where my reel section is, it's spazzing out a little bit on the side there. No, it's a carp. So it tried to run there, so I put the tip of the rod down and lowered the, there we go. That's a linear mirror carp, and we call them linear carps when their scales are all in a line, like you can see there. 31 pounds. Now, considering we used a hook length that only has a strength of 20 pounds, we did okay there. Okay, 93, we'll take it, not so bad. Not quite as deep as the 98, but it's fine, we'll deal. We'll leave these 3 as they are like this for a little while. If that's not working, maybe we'll not go quite so far out. Maybe we'll test the waters a little closer to the middle, because whilst where we are it's pretty deep, I still think that we are quite close to the bank there. It doesn't look like we're that far away, so I might maybe look at casting maybe around 70%, something like that. We'll see if we can pick up our boss barbel there. I must admit, reading that section, knowing how many barbel we were catching and that they were specimen barbel at that, I'm quite surprised that the boss barbel isn't near one of those islands, because just the frequency and the size of the barbel we were catching there, I really expected to catch the boss barbel in a similar position. I don't know if you can notice, but if you look next to the number 3 rod, there are some reeds there that are moving quite a lot. I don't know if that means that it's windy or if there's fish in there. Oftentimes when you go fishing and you go fishing at a lake like this, if you see the reeds or the lilies moving about, moving in unnatural ways, oftentimes that means that there's usually a big fish in amongst them, and it can often get you an extra fish or two if you fish to them. So we've had a fish on number 1, we've had a fish on number 2. We tried putting number 3 a ways away from them. We'll see if it's going to produce soon. If it doesn't, by the time the other 2 move, maybe we'll try moving it closer to those 2, because it'll be an indication that maybe there's not so many fish where we put the 3rd rod. I'm super happy that the fishing videos are getting some good reception. Again, I was quite worried that it wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea, but I do think it's extremely relaxing. Currently there's not a lot happening, so there's not so much controller clicking today, there's not so much bite alarms going off, and I actually haven't heard a bear or a wolf yet. So, oh, here we go, number 1. This is the meat. The meat has had the most bites so far. Maybe we'll put meat on number 3. That might work. I only worry that the meat might attract too many carp. Okay, so this one is fighting pretty hard. We're not getting our own way with it. It might be an indicator that it's a carp. Our number 2 rod's gone now. We definitely have a hot zone there compared to the number 3 rod. I'm a little bit worried because these fish are so far away that we're not going to have time to pick up that number 2 rod, so I'm going to increase the pressure on this fish. I'm going to try and bring it in quicker. It is coming in quicker now though. Okay, it's another eel. We do not want these. I don't like eel. Please come in. They're slippery buggers, let me tell you. So it's a common eel. Let's get quickly into this number 2 so that we don't lose it. Hook is slipping. We'll increase the pressure. There we go. Too much. There we go. It's coming up. It's coming up quite quickly, so that might show us that it's not a carp. It's getting his head up. You can see the depth just beside the real information, beside the real gears there. This one's coming in pretty easy, so I think it's carp. We don't want it, I'm pressurizing it to come to the right. We don't want it going into the decking there. Okay, so this is, it might actually be a carp. It's just a very small one. There we go. Yeah, very small carp. That one came in quite easily. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think, whilst we are getting bites out there, and I do want to stay there, I think what I'm going to do is going to line up with the tree again, with the rod, and I'm going to aim for, I'm going to try and get somewhere near 70. That'll do. The three rod's gone now. Okay, we've got gravel there. Let's get a 3 rod in. The hook's slipping, but we have managed to rescue it. It's coming up, but it's not coming up that quickly. And our number 1 rod has gone straight away. I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, this is a carp. This is definitely a carp. It's either a carp or a boss fish or a specimen at the very least. If it's not a carp, that is. If it could be, I think we're probably going to lose possibly both fish here. Not a lot I can do. If I drop it, we lose it 100%. Because it's fighting hard, I don't want to risk losing a boss fish. It's definitely not a bream, we know that much because we read about it. We read how the bream give up very quickly. Okay, it looks like we might be able to put some more pressure on it now. We could possibly change our reel, which could give us a little bit more power getting the fish in. Again, this looks like a small carp, so looks like a small leather carp. I'm trying to bully the fish in because I really don't want to lose the other fish. Here we go. So it's not a leather carp, it's a mirror carp. 27 pounds though. It looks bigger than I expected. Let's see if we can, see if we've got any chance of catching this fish. Okay, we haven't really lost too much on this one. That might tell us that it's small. What I am noticing, however, is further over to the left there, it appears to be deeper. Where we hooked into that carp, where we hooked into this fish, it appears to be quite a bit deeper. So maybe we'll go searching over there with our baits in a second. Okay, so this looks like a chub. This could well be a chub. It didn't feel big when I hooked into it, so there we go. 4 pound common chub. Not bad, not bad. At least it's a coarse fish. I was expecting to catch quite a lot of carp because we're in open water. Okay, so now because they're sort of at 50 meters, I'm going to test out over here. We'll go for 80, around 80. how we look. So it's close to 50 over there. I'm going to leave that for now. We know that there's gravel up there though, so I'm going to quickly try and change the hooks on these. We're going to go with the bottom bait rigs, gravel, bottom bait rig, where, there. No, I'm going to keep those as they are for now. We're going to try and target that area around there because we know it's about 50 feet deep. There we go, perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Hopefully we have a better chance around there of a boss fish. We'll see. What have we got there? We've got, again, 50 feet. We'll see if using the right hooks on 2 and 3 gives us a better haul than using the wrong hook on 1. We'll see how that works for us. I would like to know what other people's ideas are of cozy games. If you've got any cozy games in your mind that you think might be good for me to make a video on, please let me know. I am planning to do some Minecraft very soon. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to do like a mod pack or something, or just your vanilla Minecraft. I'm very much looking forward to it. I've not played Minecraft in quite a few years, so there's going to be a lot of new stuff for me to explore. I love so much about Minecraft. I spent a long time playing with a very good friend of mine. Number 1, here we go. That meat really is getting all the bites, isn't it? We're going to have to switch them all to meat, I think. Yeah, me and a friend, we had a server between us, and see number 3 is going now. We made quite an incredible world. We had several bases. We had like a warp gate system in the Nether that could get us from one base to another base on the complete opposite side of the world. We made all sorts of machines. We even made backstories for like why our characters were there. Oh, this is great! All 3 of our rods are going. I am almost certain we're going to lose at least one of these. I have a lot of good memories from Minecraft. I have wanted to play it again for quite some time, but again, without a reason. I think Minecraft is not really a solo game, but if I'm going to make videos on it, that's more than a good enough reason, you know. I'm trying to think which rod went second. I have a feeling it was rod 3. I'm going to try and put a bit more pressure on this fish. Oh, it's another eel. We can't get away from them, can we? I think it's the meat. I don't think there's any boss fish eel. I could be wrong, but I don't think there is. I think... Oh, it's a specimen now. It's a specimen, I will take that. I'm afraid we have to rush past it. I'm going to take 2 because it's so far away. I'm worried about it getting around the back of that island, so I'm going to put some strain. I'm going to use some of my health, some of my line health, just to bully it towards me a little bit, get it out of danger, and then once we've got it coming in the right direction, we'll play it a bit more safe. Unfortunately, it looks like number 3 has stopped moving. This is unfortunate. I always wonder if the fish you lost might be a boss fish, you know? It's impossible to not think this is a carp, a 12-pound carp. Unfortunately, we're catching all the wrong species today. It's unfortunate, but it's okay. We're still catching. It's still fun. It's not what we're targeting, but it's still a lot of fun. We'll try and put these back out again, somewhere around 80%. I like how quickly our baits went that time. Number 1 went fastest again, and number 1 is the wrong hook, so it doesn't appear that it's affecting too much. Or was it number 3 that was the wrong hook? No, it wasn't. It was number 1. $50, lovely, perfect. So yeah, Minecraft is very much on the agenda. I may do some Stardew. I don't think I'll do a full playthrough, but I am interested in trying some of the mods. There's some fantastic mods out there, and I may do some challenges on there. I definitely want to do more fishing. You can expect this video obviously, and at least one more in a couple days time. I'm very keen to push out the fishing videos because I've been told by a few people that they enjoyed the last one and that they found it very relaxing, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make people's days better. We're trying to help people to sleep. We're trying to help people to forget about what they've got going on in their life. And if we get to play fun games like this, then whilst we're doing it, then that's fantastic, isn't it? I will give it maybe another 10 minutes, I think. We'll have 10 more minutes of fishing, and then we'll call it a day. And we'll look over the summary of what we've caught. We did catch that one specimen eel. I spent the entire video saying how I didn't want to catch an eel, and we caught a specimen one and turned myself into a hypocrite by being happy about it. Again, I don't think that there's a boss fish here. That's an eel, so that's the only reason I'm not really bothered about catching them. They're also kind of a pain to fight. They take longer to catch, and it gets a little bit, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that way or if it's a glitch, but when you're trying to land the fish right at the end, it gets kind of weird. It doesn't seem to register that the fish is ready to be caught, and you can basically just spend like a 20 to 30 seconds fighting with the fish right under your feet for no reason. Well, it sounds like we've got some action. Number 3 this time, the maggot. I think this might be the first fish we catch from number 3, because number 3 got away last time. See if the number 1 and number 2 go off at the same time this time. It does seem to be a pattern today that the rods only go off at the same time. We're not catching one and then another one's going off. We're trying to catch one and all of them's going off at the same time. This feels very carpy. This feels very carpy indeed. This is the maggot. I did expect to be catching more smaller species like the rods and the roaches, but this is the maggot, and it's looking to me like this is a carp. It's keeping its head down and it's not allowing itself to be bullied away from the direction that it wants to swim. Yeah, it is indeed a carp. It did feel very carpy, very, very carpy. It's a common. See if we can get it in before one of our other rods goes off. Here we go, fantastic. Okay, it might be a ghost carp actually. Yeah, it is. 20-pound ghost carp. So we're catching the carp today. It's not helping us a lot, it's not what we want, but a bite is a bite, and I'm not going to complain. We hit the 80% right on the head that time. Can't say fairer than that, can we? So we'll give it another 5 minutes, or until all 3 rods have caught a fish from this point on. If we catch one with all 3 rods before the 5 minutes is caught, then we'll call it a day. We have not managed to hook into, was it Francois Eck or something? I can't quite remember the name of the barber we're trying to catch, but it doesn't look as if we're going to pick him up today. I think we did everything that we could. We targeted the deep water, we targeted an area that wasn't close to the bank, we targeted the dark area of the map, and we used small baits. So I think we met every criteria. Unfortunately, unless something happens in the next 5 minutes, we're not going to catch our boss barbel. However, I do find it strange that we haven't caught a single barbel. Of course, we've been plagued by eel and carp. We did catch one chub, but I think that's it. I think everything else has been eel or carp. We will check the summary when we call it a day, just to see if I'm wrong. I think what we'll do next episode is we will read maybe the boss roach summary, and after we've done that, we'll either target, if it gives us any clues, we'll target what it tells us to target, or we'll have a nice little walk around the lake and we'll try to find some lily pads or something. Okay, so number 1 and number 2 have gone at the exact same time this time. and number 3's gone as well. It's like buses, isn't it? You don't see a bus for 2 hours and then 3 come along at once. That's okay though. It's something to talk about, isn't it? It's something to bemoan. I think we all love to be able to moan about something, don't we? I think it's in our nature to want to moan about things and to make ourselves feel a little bit better. I try not to moan about things. I think I find myself getting into a negative pattern if I do too much moaning, but sometimes it just feels right. Sometimes it just feels right to get your frustrations out in a little bit of a whining session, you know? That looked very much like a carp. No, this is a barbel. This is a barbel, people. I wonder. We've caught it in the deep and dark area. It's fighting hard. Have we caught our boss fish? What do you think? Oh, not even a specimen. Okay, 2 went off first, so we'll grab 2. I was a little bit too excited then. I did think, I must admit, I did think it looked a little bit too small to be a boss fish, but you never know. We hadn't seen one all day, and then all of a sudden, while we're fishing in the deep, dark area with the right meat, and we see it's a barbel, the imagination gets sparked and we start creating glory for ourselves. I would like to hear how people feel about longish episodes. Are longer episodes something that you want to see, or would you prefer something around the 10 to 15 minute mark? Do you want longer episodes? I'm very curious to see what people want to have. Well, this fish is staying deep. I didn't see that at all. Can I get it up? Nope, not without straining the hook. I imagine we've lost fish 3 again. I'm going to try to get this fish closer to the surface. Oh, this is a carp. Okay, this is a fairly big carp by the looks of things. It's got a bit of a belly on him. Well, he does not want to come in, does he? If we have indeed lost number 3, this will be our last fish of the session. It's a specimen carp, people. We're trying to avoid carp, but somehow we managed to catch it. I'm gonna get rid of it because I can still hear the other fish on. Got so much slack to reel in here that we may... Okay, unfortunately we are over by those decking, but we're okay, we caught it. So we managed to catch a specimen eel, which we're not trying to catch, and we have another eel here, talk of the devil, and we managed to catch, I think it was a 36-pound carp. That was also a specimen, and again, we're not trying to catch them, so I can only but say we have done a bad job at catching the fish we're trying to catch, but I thoroughly enjoyed it still, so I think that's the thing that matters, right? So let's go over, in fact, let's see if there is a... Oh, it doesn't tell us here, does it? Okay, so let's see what we caught this session. So we started the session with an eel, and we caught a mirror carp of 31 pounds. Remember, our hook length is only 20 pound breaking strain, so managing to catch a 31 pound carp on 20 pound breaking strain is still quite an achievement. We had a 7 pound eel, a 7 pound 12. It might even, no, it wasn't the same one because they're different sizes. That's okay, different lengths. Then we caught a 10 pound common carp. Then we caught a mirror carp at 27, almost 28 pounds. We caught a chub at 4 pounds 5 ounces. Then we caught a specimen eel at 9 pounds 15 ounces. Then we caught a 12 pound common carp. Then we caught a 20 pound ghost carp. Then we caught a barbel. We had yet another carp. This one was a 35 pound 8 ounce specimen. And then last but not least, we caught on another eel. So not a bad session. Not a bad session at all. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. If you did get this far, please consider liking the video and subscribing. I'd really like to be able to reach a bigger audience, just to be able to, again, help people relax. That would be fantastic. And the only way for that to really happen is to be able to get enough likes to get into the algorithm. So if you feel that you've got something from the video, please do go ahead and like the video. If not, that's totally fine as well. I will see you next time. Thank you very much for tuning in.